All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this world it is that you are. Welcome once more to an audio-only edition of IP2 Wiki Info Live. I'm also simulcasting today on the Streamer Parents and Streamer Analysis channel. I'm your hostess, Alexandra Mayers. And I want to go over some information directly from the artificial intelligence, the AI. It's an AI analysis on Kerissa's situation and why Zaya and his group are targeting her daughter. I know that in the title, I misspelled something, so don't fixate on that. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. First thing I want to do is present a video that I posted as a standalone video a bit earlier today. Let me go ahead and play that. Public figure Gary DiBenedetto is likely in danger of being physically assaulted or worse by Kerissa's online associate and public figure, Zaya, aka Victor De Leon. De Leon has already physically stalked the elderly man known as Gary at his home in Staten Island. De Leon's apparent objective is to gain access to Kerissa's daughter. De Leon has a history of being an ephebophile in regards to a girl he groomed from age 16, known as Katie.
Now, Peppy's imagine, right? Because, Higgins don't take this into consideration, right? She told me that I could not pull up down there, and if I did, Gary was going to shoot me. What if I would have came down there, locked and loaded, ready to shoot? Because if I'm thinking correctly, I don't think that I had the Hellcat at this point.
You didn't have it yet.
I didn't have a gun at this point. So I pulled up. What if I would have been someone else and I would have pulled up with a gun thinking that there's going to be some type of action, and then I end up forcing the action between me and Gary? This fat bitch is the one that makes it happen. It's her fucking mouth. She keeps on running her fucking mouth, playing with me, right? When in all actuality, my nigga, like, you shouldn't be playing with no one like that on the internet. You just shouldn't. You don't know. You don't know what could happen. I could have pulled up and smoked you, your fucking dad, everybody. Okay? You told me I couldn't pull up or I would get shot. Wrong.
Well, she actually said you'd leave in a body bag.
Wrong. I'm saying, nigga, and guess what? Look, you see how confident I'm talking, right? You see the confidence in my talking, right? You see me confident in saying that I'm going to do it again? Imagine, because you didn't deliver, I'm over cocky now. I'm going to pull up and do it again. And again, and again, and again. Go tell Gary to get his fucking gun. Because this ain't going to end, my nigga.
All right, we're pulling up to Controller's crib now. Okay, folks, this is Controller's block right here.
Okay, so I wanted to start this live stream with that video because the situation revolving around Kerissa is escalating intensely by the day, and I really am thankful to the AI because the AI seems to be able to recognize what a lot of people who are definitely adults, who definitely should have common sense, don't seem to be recognizing. The situation revolving around Kerissa is not a game. It is real life. And it's not going to end very well, according to the AI and according to a lot of people's opinions. So I'm going to go ahead and show some of you some information from the AI. And I do have this portion of what we're about to go over posted on the community tab of the IP2 Wiki Info channel. Also, if you do want to participate in today's chat, you need to be a subscriber to the IP2 Wiki Info channel. That's the only way. But yeah, let's look at some of this. So the initial question that I asked the AI is the following. The user asked, or here's what the initial user question is. The user asked for guidance regarding a woman in her mid-30s caring for a 9-year-old daughter and living with her elderly father, who routinely antagonizes a man via YouTube live stream. The man is known to have a violent history, a criminal history, a pattern of inappropriate relationships with young women, and is known to carry a gun in his backpack. Initial assessment and general safety guidance. The situation combines several high-risk elements: vulnerable household, meaning the child and the elderly parent, a violent individual with access to a firearm, an online antagonization that could escalate. Key guidance included: number 1, de-escalate and stop antagonizing the individual. Okay, so that's the first thing that the AI suggested that somebody do who's in a situation along what Carissa's is. But has she done that over the past few years? No. Document interactions, threats, and evidence, strengthen home security, avoid direct confrontation, protect the child from exposure to conflict. I highlighted that line because that does not seem to be something that is happening. If anything, I think we're seeing more so, or hearing even more so, of the presence of the child than before, and it's odd. But again, I have my theories as to why. So let's keep going here. Reduce online identifiability. No, she's done the opposite. Seek advice from victim services or professionals. Contact law enforcement if threats escalate. We've heard on a lot of occasions her saying that she's not a cop caller, whereas in actuality, at this phase, she needs to call the police probably more than she ever has before. Really. All right. And then I added the information to the AI in regards to Zaya having physically driven past this woman's house, having made multiple streams about her. Let's go to the next thing. Hosts a Discord server where private information, photos, and videos of her, her father, and her daughter are posted. Has made direct violent threats toward the father, including threats involving firearms. So once I provided that information, the AI said, this is actually actively dangerous, not just concerning. The immediate risk level, the man's behaviors qualify as harassment, stalking, doxing, targeted threats involving weapons, and intimidation of a vulnerable household. I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you again because it doesn't seem like some of you who probably in your everyday lives do act rationally are really getting the level of threat that this guy is making. And my question would be, why would so many people be okay with this guy at this point? It's weird. Public figure Gary DiBenedetto is likely in danger of being physically assaulted or worse by Carissa's online associate and public figure Zaya, aka Victor DeLeon. DeLeon has already physically stalked the elderly man known as Gary at his home in Staten Island. DeLeon's apparent objective is to gain access to Carissa's daughter. DeLeon has a history of being an ephebophile in regards to a girl he groomed from age 16 known as Katie.
Now, Peppy's imagine, right? Because like Higgins don't take this into consideration, right? She told me that I could not pull up down there, and if I did, Gary was going to shoot me. What if I would have came down there, locked and loaded, ready to shoot? Because if I'm thinking correctly, I don't think that I had the Hellcat at this point.
And there's no way to know what firearm he had in his initial drive by her home, okay? This is actual footage from his stream right here. I mean, you can't take Pebby's word for it because she lies very readily and will do anything to defend Zaya, right? Okay, this is... So he's admitting to what he's done. Let's keep going.
Right? She told me that I could not pull up down there, and if I did, Gary was going to shoot me. What if I would have came down there, locked and loaded, ready to shoot? Because if I'm thinking correctly, I don't think that I had the Hellcat at this point.
You didn't have it yet.
I didn't
They both lie too much. You can't take either of their words for that. No.
have a gun at this point. So I pulled up. What if I would have been someone else and I would have pulled up with a gun thinking that there's going to be some type of action, and then I end up forcing the action between me and Gary? This fat.
And he's mentioning by name her dad. Okay? We already saw that he's willing to make the trip to go where she lives. This is her neighborhood, okay? He's calling out her father. Her father would have to be in his 60s, maybe his 70s. This guy that you're hearing, he's mentally ill. I don't think that he's able to decipher fantasy from reality properly.
This fat bitch is the one that makes it happen. It's her.
And see, he's not taking any accountability for any of his malicious actions. He keeps saying that Kerissa makes it happen. All he has to do is stop watching her live stream. But he wants the confrontation, and there's a lot of reasons as to why. And he is gaining monetarily from doing all this.
Fucking mouth. She keeps on.
But she is too, which is interesting.
Running her fucking mouth, playing with me, right? When in all actuality, my nigga, like, you shouldn't be playing with no one like that on the internet. You just shouldn't. You don't know. You don't know what could happen. I could have pulled up and smoked you, your fucking dad, everybody.
Normal people don't talk like that, especially not publicly on a live stream, especially when they know that their target has a minor age kid in their care. This is not good. So I just wanted to review that. If you want to look at that video as a standalone video, look under the videos tab of the IP2 Wiki Info channel. But let's go back to this. All right. So when it comes to the male in this equation, he's a stalker. He's made targeted threats involving weapons, and he's intimidating a vulnerable household. All right, but here's the problem. The person who is the target, Kerissa, she's not really doing what she should be doing to protect herself, her dad, and her daughter in this situation. Immediate safety action. Cease all online antagonizing immediately. She doesn't do that. It also suggests contact law enforcement, document everything, strengthen home security. But look at that last element that I outlined. Avoid any online engagement with the man or his followers. We just found out that that guy Sam Man is welcome within Kerissa's stream. That's that guy Zaya's best friend. Everything that they do is in tandem with one another. All right, digital safety measures. Remove or hide personal information online. What else? sorry about that. Let's bring this up. Avoid live streaming entirely. Wow. She's definitely not avoided live streaming. Scrub social media of identifiable backgrounds, locations, or routines. I mean, she takes us to the grocery store with her. So the situation here does seem, you know what I'm going to do? I'm kind of tired of banning everybody, and I'm going to disable the chat eventually anyway. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a mass unban. So give me a moment. I feel like a lot of you have a lot to say, and maybe I need to see what some of you have to say for specific reasons. So let's go ahead and do a mass unban when it comes to everybody. Really. Might as well. All right, there it is. Okay, but let's go back to what we were looking at here. All right, safety of the child and elderly father. Their safety is top priority. The child should never appear in streams or online conflict. For some reason, she's not able to do that. For some reason, she's not able to do that, meaning Kerissa. The home should be monitored and secured. If threats mention the child or father, this warrants immediate police involvement. And see, that's what happened over the past 48 hours. This guy is directly mentioning the dad. Okay, and the dad is old. He's an older guy. I mean, I almost feel, and that's why we're going to go into some other information that I have. I feel like this guy actually wants to date Kerissa. I think that he even probably has a vision of Gary dying and him moving in. And I guess the downstairs would be the ultimate streaming studio, and upstairs would be where they live. Because just the way that he seems so bold in mentioning this girl's dad, it's not good.
Okay? You told me I couldn't pull up or I would get shot. Wrong!
Well, she actually said you'd leave in a body bag.
Wrong! I'm saying, nigga, you know? And guess what? Look, you see how confident I'm talking? Right? You see the confidence in my talking, right? You see me confident in saying that I'm going to do it again? Imagine. Because you didn't deliver, I'm over cocky now. I'm going to pull up and do it again. And again, and again, and again. Go tell Gary to get his fucking gun. Because this ain't going to end, my nigga.
All right, we're pulling up to Controller's crib now. Okay, folks, this is Controller's block right here.
Okay, I mean, just an old guy just looking at this guy, Zaya, alone, that could easily make their heart rate and induce a heart attack. Okay, it's really weird. And that clip that I just showed you, I mean, I would think if anything, that would be the clip that would get this guy picked up. But I don't think that Kerissa is involving law enforcement. I just kind of don't get that feeling at this point. Let's keep looking at this. Overarching themes of guidance across all responses, the strategic priorities were de-escalate, document, engage authorities, prioritize the safety of the child and father. That's what we're not seeing. And I think the AI has figured out as to why we're not seeing that. All right, let's look at the last part, final summary. The situation described poses a significant risk due to the combination of a violent weapon carrying individual, stalking and doxing activities, explicit threats, vulnerable dependents in the household. The recommended path is immediate disengagement. We don't see that from her. Immediate disengagement. So let me go ahead and take this down. Now we're going to look at a sort of a slideshow. I wonder why oh, I see why. All right, we're going to look at a slideshow when it comes to some more information from the AI. Let me add this. Okay. All right. I just had to generate it into like a printout, but I'll read it to you. 10-year impact outline from the AI. How criminal public figure and a phebophile Zaya and those within his online hate group who assist him, such as Sandman, Pebbies, Chicken Snakes, Amber the Meth Head, and several others, will negatively impact Kerissa's daughter. It's important to note that Zaya surrounds himself with mothers of sons, opposed to mothers of daughters. Zaya targets maliciously mothers of daughters. All right, so this is probably going to make a lot of you uncomfortable to go through, but we do need to go through it because the two people who it seems like people are kind of omitting in this situation involving Kerissa are the elderly dad and the minor aged child. Okay? And I feel like there's a very nefarious reason as to why. Again, I want to make it clear that this guy, Zaya, does surround himself with the mothers of sons, not the mothers of daughters. And it's weird. But I think that he has a long-term plan, and this AI probably figured it out. Okay. So this is how the daughter is being affected. Ages 9 to 11. Early anxiety, hypervigilance, and loss of safety. At this stage, kids absorb more than adults think. The likely impacts. The kid would be afraid of being watched or targeted because the mother is being stalked and doxxed, okay? And the daughter always knows that the mother is being stalked and doxxed because the mom is very loud about it, is always talking about it. It's kind of like her identity at this point. Sleep issues, nightmares, fear of being alone in her room. Heightened startle response or jumpiness. Confusion about what's real danger versus online drama. And I'm going to do a separate stream addressing a bit of delusion within this woman when it comes to defining things as online drama opposed to what it in actuality is. Her feeling the need to consistently feed her narcissism via negative attention. Anxiety when strangers knock, walk by, or drive past the home. Early loss of trust in a parent who dismisses danger. All right, the risk. She learns that adults ignore threats instead of addressing them. All right, number 2, ages 11 to 13. Social withdrawal and identity impact. Middle school is when kids become highly aware of reputation. All right, so now we're projecting only about 2 to 3 years from now, okay? Embarrassment if classmates discover the online drama or doxed content. So that is likely going to happen. Fear that photos or videos online could be seen by the peers. Withdrawal from social activities to avoid being judged. Beginning to resent her mother for creating chaos. Identity formation shaped by instability, seeing stress and danger as normal. The risk, she internalizes the message, quote, "My safety is not a priority in this home." And see, all this could be avoided by this woman deciding to do with the AI, which is comprised basically of a bunch of professionals, suggested. De-escalate and stop antagonizing the individual. Immediate disengagement. Prioritize the safety of the child and father above the streaming. I mean, cease of online antagonizing immediately. Avoid any other engagement. So, you know, these are, I think, things that people with common sense are observing, but also people with really malicious agendas are observing, and they're like taking advantage of the fact that we're looking at a woman who's a mom who, due to her narcissism, is basically incapable of doing what she should be doing. And it's not because they're targeting Kerissa. I'm telling you, they're trying to get to her daughter. And the AI is explaining how. All right, ages 13 to 15, behavior problems, acting out or shut down. Adolescence hits hard when a child grows up with chronic stress. So here are the likely impacts. Acting out at school or at home due to unprocessed fear, or emotional shutdown, avoiding conflict and suppressing her needs. Anger towards her mother for not protecting the family. Distrust of adults and authority because they didn't intervene earlier. Early exposure to threat dynamics, making her more vulnerable to, and see, this is where I think Zaya's interest is, okay? That child, as she becomes an adult, is going to be very vulnerable to controlling boyfriends, online grooming, and abusive friendships. And being that the child is probably developing her own online life, I want you all to think about this, okay? Zaya himself cannot go on the children's platforms to seek out, stalk, and bully Carissa's daughter. But guess what? He surrounds himself with some evil ass, piss poor in character women who are all the mothers of sons who teach their sons, as we've learned through Gish and Chicken Snakes, how to troll, in other words, how to stalk. He's created an army of minor aged boys to target Carissa's daughter on social media through the minor age platforms. Do you understand how he's working? Risk. She may normalize unsafe behavior since she watched her mother normalize danger. It's never been about Kerissa. It's always been about her daughter. Ages 15 to 17, trauma symptoms become patterned. By the mid-teens, long-term exposure to instability creates chronic emotional patterns, likely impacts. Ongoing hypervigilance, always scanning for danger. Because really the kid doesn't get to rest a lot when she's within the mother's household. She's always going to be on edge because the mother's always on edge. It's like a fight or flight sort of mentality that she's developed. Generalized anxiety or panic attacks. Constant tension at home due to the mother's conflict cycle. Beginning to fantasize about moving out early to escape. Very high risk of her daughter becoming a runaway. And again, you have this guy, Zaya, who's been targeting this family. It's not just Kerissa, it's the family for years. Plus, he's working with people who have targeted and researched her for years. They know everything about them. If her daughter ever runs away while she's still like, somewhere between 13 and 18, she's not going to have a chance. Because not only does he have an army of really evil adults, but the children of those adults would be able to assist him too, and they would. He's created a gang, a multi-generational, online-based, willing to go in real life, loyal gang with a lot of members from a lot of different walks of life. This is what y'all need to know. And again, I did a mass unban. I want you all to talk. Go ahead and talk. There's people who are looking at this chat. Talk. Say exactly what you really want to say. Risk. She may start seeking stability outside the home in unhealthy places. Ages 17 to 19. Difficulty launching into adulthood. At this stage, the child usually starts forming long-term identity patterns. The likely impacts: lack of trust in romantic partners, difficulty forming healthy relationships, especially expecting chaos or validity, trouble focusing on school or career because her attention was consumed by survival stress, avoiding or avoidance of conflict to an unhealthy degree, or aggression when conflict arises. So no healthy medium there. Repeating the cycle, choosing unstable partners or creating chaotic online environments. Risk, she carries forward her mother's unresolved patterns into adulthood. There it is. Ages 19 to 21, long-term mental health consequences. Even after leaving the home, trauma follows. And again, this is all just an AI projection. Likely impacts: PTSD-like symptoms, hypervigilance, reactivity, emotional numbing, anxiety disorders or depression, distrust in other women or maternal figures, avoidance of online spaces where she feels exposed or unsafe, anger issues from a childhood spent feeling powerless, difficulty establishing boundaries. The risk: she may repeat the same emotionally driven online conflicts because that was her normal. Overarching long-term themes. Across the 10 years, the primary patterns are chronic anxiety, Living in a house where threats are ignored teaches the nervous system to stay in fight or flight mode. Parentification. She may feel responsible for monitoring the danger her mother created. That's a very high probability. Number 3, identity built around chaos. Kids normalize whatever they grow up with. A conflict-driven household produces adults drawn to conflict. Attachment problems. She learns that caregivers don't protect her, so she either avoids closeness or clings too tightly. Number 5, distrust and resentment. By adulthood, she may cut ties with her mother entirely to protect herself. The core issue. Children don't get to choose. Oops. Children don't get to choose their environment. When a parent refuses to disengage from a violent situation, the child absorbs the danger, absorbs the stress, and pays the long-term psychological cost. The mother may think it's just drama, but for a child, it becomes the blueprint for how life works. And again, you have quite a few mothers of sons within this guy's group who know all this, but they're willing to go after the mother of a daughter. Take the mother out of the equation. Forget about Kerissa. Why are these mothers of sons helping this man, Zaya, target a little girl? Why are you really doing this, chicken snakes? Is it because you're hoping that you can keep track of her daughter to where you can try to get her daughter to date your son? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you other mothers are thinking when it comes to your sons? Because your sons probably will not be able to easily find girlfriends considering your actions. Are you planning on targeting other mothers with daughters in order to basically find dates or girlfriends for your sons? Because Zaya's growing an organized crime group. It's a gang. And you mothers of sons in his gang, you're the first generation. As soon as your sons become 18, you as the mother will no longer be of use and he will discard you. He'd rather surround himself with a group of loyal young men to do his bidding criminally than a bunch of cackling women. Really think about what I'm saying here, because I'm right. The high-risk lifestyle patterns Kerissa's daughter may be drawn into by 18. Chaotic or abusive relationships. Children who grow up watching a parent normalize danger often interpret chaos as love or intensity. She may be drawn to controlling partners, aggressive partners, older partners, partners with criminal histories, relationships that mimic the unpredictability she grew up with. The daughter is going to be attracted to criminal, mentally ill men like Zaya, which is what he wants. Again, he's not attracted to Kerissa. He's attracted to her daughter. The daughter even looks like, and Kerissa does too, because the daughter looks like Kerissa, that they both look like that girl, Katie, the 16-year-old that he groomed. Same look. This isn't because she wants it. It's because her nervous system sees the chaos as familiar. Dangerous online activity. Because she grew up around live stream drama, doxing, conflict, and public hostility, she may engage in online feuds, exposing personal info publicly, sharing risky content for attention, being lured by predatory adults, participating in chaotic online communities, reenacting the same conflict pattern she watched. Children mirror the digital behavior they observe. And again, I want to go back to the point that Zaya surrounds himself by mothers of sons who are all teaching their children how to engage in organized stalking, aka trolling, and take it offline, meaning take it from online situations to in-person encounters. High-risk coping behaviors. Chronic childhood stress often leads teens to seek escape. Possible risk areas. Number one, drug experimentation. Can you believe that that's the first thing? Drug experimentation. I mean, if Carissa's intent was to try to break the cycle by being a drug and alcohol counselor, great. But what Kerissa has inadvertently done through her online conflicts is create a very hostile environment that is the home environment of her child, to where in order for the child to be able to escape possibly in the future, she'll turn to drugs to numb herself. And she's genetically predisposed to do so anyway. That's the reality. Alcohol abuse, self-harm behaviors, impulsive decision-making, running away, or couch surfing. It's funny, someone in here just brought up vegan patriot. Well, this outcome that I'm describing sounds a lot like vegan patriot, doesn't it? You want to know why? Because vegan patriot has a mom a lot like Kerissa. That's why. I mean, let's think about vegan patriot right now, okay? Let's really think about her. And then let's look at these high-risk coping behaviors. Chronic childhood stress often leads teens to seek escape. Drug experimentation. Well, that's vegan patriot. And she's not even a teen anymore. She's a grown-up. But it probably started in her teens. Alcohol abuse. We've seen that. Self-harm behaviors. We've seen that. Impulsive decision-making. That sounds like vegan to me. Running away or couch surfing. That's vegan. These are all ways to avoid feeling trapped in a stressful home. So, I mean, we're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. We're not only talking about what the AI is projecting for Carissa's daughter, we're also talking about what happened to Vegan Patriot. And then, ironically, Kerissa has been extensively covering for a very long time Vegan Patriot. That's interesting, isn't it? Occupations that reflect instability. Children from high conflict backgrounds sometimes gravitate toward unstable or unpredictable jobs, gig work with no structure, nightlife environments, environments with poor boundaries, work where drama or attention seeking is normalized, certain online content careers. Are we, I mean, this is supposed to be a projection of Carissa's daughter, right? It sounds exactly like Vegan Patriot. And Kerissa extensively, obsessively covers Vegan Patriot. Do you see what this is? I wonder if Kerissa realizes that she's like Vegan Patriot's mom, and I wonder if Vegan Patriot herself has realized that her beginnings were that essentially of Kerissa's daughter. I wonder if Kerissa is able to see within Vegan her daughter. And if so, why would she go after Vegan the way that she does? Occupations that reflect instability. Y'all should screenshot that. This isn't moral judgment. It's about the nervous system seeking what feels familiar. All right. Jobs that may pose elevated risk. Not because the jobs are bad, but because they attract people with unresolved trauma, impulsive behavior, or unstable boundaries. First thing that they list, adult-oriented online content creation. And this is the AI saying this. I've been saying this for a long time. When you raise kids in certain environments, especially daughters, it does drive the daughters into the adult industry. Nobody wants to talk about that or hear that, but the AI even talked about it. Live streaming for income, clubs or nightlife work, online influencer spaces tied to drama or controversy, work tied to unstable social groups, jobs where income depends on attention, conflict, or provocative content. I mean, that's Vegan's life right there. That's Vegan Patriot. But I didn't ask the AI about Vegan Patriot. I was asking about the situation revolving around Kerissa and her daughter. These environments can feel natural to someone raised around online conflict. I should retitle this stream. Vegan Patriot is the AI's projected adult outcome of Kerissa's daughter. Wow. What makes it so creepy is that Kerissa is all about focusing on Vegan Patriot and everything around Vegan Patriot. Criminal exposure through others. Not necessarily committing crime herself, but being close to people who do. Children raised around danger sometimes hang around high-risk friend groups. Date partners involved in criminal activity. Get pulled into situations they didn't intend. Get caught in fights, retaliation, or harassment directed at their partner or friends. Not because they're bad kids, but because they learned poor danger detection. Poor danger detection. Okay. Emotional dependency and attachment to unsafe people. She may cling to people who feel intense, distrust safe, stable people, confuse instability with excitement, feel bored or restless in healthy relationships. This makes her a target for manipulators, predators, narcissistic personalities, men who replicate her mother's dynamic with the violent man. Predators look for kids raised in chaos because they're easier to overwhelm, and that is what I'm saying about Zaya. It's never been about Kerissa. When it comes to the mothers of sons that he surrounds himself with, it's not about those mothers. He knows that all those mothers, Pebbies, Chicken Snakes, India, BXO, Amber the Meth Head, all of them have chaotic households. All of their sons are going to be very easy for Zaya to turn into his gang. They already are a part of his gang. And those sons are going to be who he uses to essentially corral daughters like Kerissa's daughter. All of you who are helping him do this, you are going to hell. You just are. Man. Predators look for kids raised in chaos because they're easier to overwhelm. Streamers who are parents, this is why you cannot have your kids on stream at all, and why you shouldn't be streaming to begin with. Becoming the fixer in unhealthy situations. Growing up parentified, feeling responsible for protecting the home, often leads to becoming the emotional caretaker for others, tolerating abusive behavior to keep the peace, sacrificing her own needs, getting trapped in drama cycles she feels obligated to manage. That sounds like vegan, doesn't it? That's the situation that Chris's daughter is in, to where she could easily have the same outcome as vegan. This can pull her into dangerous living situations, unstable roommates, financially unstable relationships. That's the AI projected Kerissa's daughter's future, and it's Vegan Patriots' real life present. Repeating the cycles of public conflict, she may adopt a pattern similar to her mother, using live streams to vent or fight. That's what Zaya and his group are hoping for. Exposing personal life online. Again, that's what Zaya's group is hoping for. Dramatizing conflict. That's what Zaya's group is hoping for. Attracting volatile people. Definitely what Zaya's group is hoping for. Minimizing danger until too late. This is one of the most predictable intergenerational patterns. Why these risks exist? Because long-term exposure to threats, doxing, stalking, harassment, online harassment, a parental or a parent in denial, a constantly amped up household rewires a child's nervous system. By adulthood, the child's baseline becomes chaos equals normal, danger equals familiar, drama equals connection, boundaries optional, and that's where the risk begins. Yeah. So that's it for now. That's about it for now. I guess we went through everything. Lots of comments. Let me take a look. Let me scroll all the way up. Let's see, just one moment. Hey Carl, how are you doing? I'm just now getting to what you said on here. Hope you're doing well. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's it for now. That's it for now. I'll do another stream at some point, but again, to the moms that are helping this guy, Zaya, you're really sick. Because this isn't about Kerissa. This is really about her daughter ending up with probably a worse outcome when I really think about it to vegan patriots. Why would you do that to that girl? You know, if you hate her mom, that's one thing. But we're looking at a situation to where the dad is getting threats involving firearms, and this is just really, really, really bad. Some of you really need to think about what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and play this video again before I go. Public figure Gary DiBenedetto is likely in danger of being physically assaulted or worse by Kerissa's online associate and public figure Zaya, aka Victor DeLeon. DeLeon has already physically stalked the elderly man known as Gary at his home in Staten Island. DeLeon's apparent objective is to gain access to Kerissa's daughter. DeLeon has a history of being an ephebophile in regards to a girl he groomed from age 16, known as Katie.
Now, Peppy's imagine, right? Because, like, Higgins don't take this into consideration, right? She told me that I could not pull up down there, and if I did, Gary was going to shoot me. What if I would have came down there, locked and loaded, ready to shoot? Because if I'm thinking correctly, I don't think that I had the Hellcat at this point.
You didn't have it yet.
I didn't have a gun at this point. So I pulled up. What if I would have been someone else and I would have pulled up with a gun, thinking that there's going to be some type of action, and then I end up forcing the action between me and Gary? This fat bitch is the one that makes it happen. It's her fucking mouth. She keeps on running her fucking mouth, playing with me, right? When in all actuality, my nigga, like, you shouldn't be playing with no one like that on the internet. You just shouldn't. You don't know. You don't know what could happen. I could have pulled up and smoked you, your fucking dad, everybody. Okay? You told me I couldn't pull up or I would get shot. Wrong.
Well, she actually said you'd leave in a body bag.
Wrong. I'm saying, nigga, you know, and guess what? Look, you see how confident I'm talking, right? You see the confidence in my talking, right? You see me confident in saying that I'm going to do it again? Imagine, because you didn't deliver, I'm over cocky now. I'm going to pull up and do it again. And again, and again, and again. Go tell Gary to get his fucking gun. Because this ain't going to end, my nigga.
All right, we're pulling up to Controller's crib now. Okay, folks, this is Controller's block right here.
Yeah, so I'll come back later with some more information. Have a good one.